Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here with the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. Shooter, wedding season has finally wrapped up for you. I see you are in New Jersey. We've got some Tulane, glory days action going on in the background there. But let's talk a little bit about the last couple of weeks. There's been various events where there's been standouts and players to talk about. So let's jump into those. And first off, we've got the event I went to down in Atlanta, Prospect World Series, and got to see two outfielders that stood out for me in Tucker Flint and Jafnel Rivera.
Yeah, Tucker Flint's a guy who we've known about for a while. I loved him at the New England Pro Case in February. Then we got to see him at Area Codes where he really showed off that left-handed stroke. And now you get to see him in Atlanta. He put on a show.
Yeah, and you said it right there, the left-handed stroke, and that's what does it for me. He squared up some balls at Area Code games, and he was a guy who was like, okay, I'm going to circle his name, keep an eye on him, go down to Atlanta, see him play down there, and it's the same thing. He just barrels baseballs with that sweet left-handed swing. Probably a corner outfield profile, committed to Maryland, so you might try to make some connections to like a Nick Decker. Decker, I think, was more power, and I think Flint is more pure hit. But I can see the similarities there. And as you said on our podcast, Coach Vaughn might be a little upset with me for talking about his guys so much. But Tucker Flint, again, swinging the bat. But then Jafnel Rivera was a guy who I was not familiar with. From Puerto Rico, Pro Baseball Academy. Was looking good down there. Immediately jumped out for his bat speed in batting practice. Like, it was quick, loose, and I was like, all right, this is a guy that I need to keep an eye on. And then sure enough, in the games, loud contact, laced a double to left center in his first at bat, and then had a couple of hard hits later in the game as well.
Sounds like it could be a big name in this 19 class, which is a little down, especially coming off 18. But Puerto Rico still bringing the heat.
Yeah, they certainly are. There's several names to watch from Puerto Rico this year, and Rivera is definitely one of them. But I also got to see Austin Pace, who was also at the border battle. So Brandon Hall saw him there. Big, tall, lanky guy, which we all know that can, kind of mess with your delivery some. This guy keeps it together pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, 6'11", 205, and to be able to repeat that just shows off how athletic he is as a big dude. He was up to 88 at the border battle, and I think that velocity will continue to climb, especially with it being so early on in the fall. Three-pitch mix, but, Sean Jelly, another big dude who went to Kentucky, and, a fairly big draft pick from last year, not out of the question with how athletic Pace is, and he's going to be one, Rohde, you got to lock in the spring.
Yeah, definitely will keep an eye on him. Currituck County, way out there on the coast, so I'll probably try to mix in a look at him while I hop out to the Outer Banks for maybe a day or two or something like that. But also at the border battle was J.D. Brock, a Clemson recruit. He's been on the radar for quite a while, and he stood out for his quick left-handed arm you saw.
Yeah, like you said, a Clemson recruit at 6'2", 190. That pitcher's frame and the fact that he throws left-handed means that scouts are going to be paying him lots of attention. Again, the velo was a little bit down at 85 to 87 when he was at the border battle, but I just like the way the arm works. There's some whip in there, and it comes out hot. He's got a head whack at the end right now, which causes him to be a little bit erratic and lose the slot at times, but you can't deny how fast and quick the arm moves. And again, another guy who, if we see down in Jupiter, I wouldn't be surprised if he's bumping some into the low 90s.
Certainly. A lot of North Carolina guys we're talking about today, because we're going to throw another one in here. And Preston Hall, who was at the PBR Limited Series, also a guy that stood out at the Future Games. And he showed well down at Shipyard, and then committed to College of Charleston right after.
Yeah, the limited series that we had down at the Shipyard in Charleston, which I was really disappointed that I couldn't get to, because I love Charleston so much. But Preston Hall finished up great work, hit a jack to deep right center, also had a bunch of other extra base hits, and that's something I think he'll continue to do at Charleston, which is where he's now committed, fresh after his performance at the Shipyard. But that left-handed stroke, he's got a big physical frame, will probably stick at the corner infield position, third base, even play some outfield if needed. But that left-handed bat's going to really play. And he looks to hammer balls, and he's got a chance to lift it. I think he'll hit for some power at the next level as well.
Yeah, excellent pickup for Chad Holbrook and company there for the Cougars. So one one to keep an eye on. But lastly, in a Royals scout team inter-squad in Tennessee, Tim K got to see several prospects. We went into a little more depth on the podcast, and he's got a notebook up as well with a ton of video. But Robert Hassel, Vanderbilt recruit, is one guy that you wanted to note, Shooter.
Yeah, and there were plenty of prospects at this event, and Tim K, as always, did an awesome job getting some video and some write-ups, so be sure to get on the site at PBR Tennessee. But Robert Hassel, in the 2020 class, you're talking about one of the purest hit tools coming out of that class, which is very talented. Left-handed hitter, which I'm sure if there are any Tennessee fans, he was in Knoxville on campus, and he's a Vanderbilt commit. He went 3 for 4, had a jack there, but he can really hit. He's confident and in the box, and he's only going to get better. He's going up against some big arms, including Hayden Mullins. So Robert Hassel, he's one of the guys in the 2020 class.
No doubt. Pretty loaded class at that, too. Mm-hmm. So, Shooter, what do you got next?
Ooh, Fort Myers coming. The underclass, I'm really excited. I've been writing down notes. I already talked to you about my route getting to this field so I can beat traffic here. I know my way around Fort Myers, so I'll be jetting from field to field. Can't wait to see all the underclass talent. Really looking forward to seeing a lot of Georgia kids down there, too.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm sure
what
you will have. Right now, working on the high school draft 100. Get some updates to the rankings coming up as a look ahead to going to Jupiter. So not a whole lot of on-field action for me the next week or so, but certainly plenty of content to come, as I'm sure you will have too in your travels to Fort Myers.
Yeah, be sure to follow along. I'll be on Twitter, probably a couple Instagram posts as well, but the write-ups each night coming out from the day is something that I think people will want to check out.
No doubt. I'll be sure to take a look at it over my breakfast in the morning and see what happened on the previous day. But there you go. Look at some recent standouts at events from the last couple of weeks, as well as a look ahead at what to expect from Shooter Hunt at Fort Myers, as well as some other stuff coming to prepbaseballreport.com. So be sure to subscribe. For Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Rohde. This was Coffee and Curveballs, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.